Hello everyone. In this video, I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Aftab Iqbal to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Aftab Iqbal's words. What was so special about the meeting between Field Marshal Hafiz and Donald Trump? What was the key point? The focal point? Because this was an extremely strange and unprecedented meeting. In our 78-year history, this is the first time that a United States president has had an official separate meeting with the army chief. There was one previous meeting between Barack Obama and General Kayani, but it was presented as a coincidence, meaning he just walked into a meeting where military officers were already present and our army chief was also there. Though it was pre-planned, the protocol dictates that United States presidents generally do not meet alone with an army chief. By alone, I mean that no special arrangement is made solely for the army chief. Now, this was a lunch meeting where a few personal and business-related matters were discussed. No details have come out. It almost seems as if this meeting never happened. At first, I was depressed, thinking I should have given live coverage, but now I'm grateful that instead of shooting in the dark, speculating and talking in vague terms, I chose silence, waited, and observed. Both the nature of events and the micro-level details. The matter I actually want to talk about is far more important than this meeting. Believe me, General Asim Munir's meeting with Trump feels like a side conversation. If I were to give this meeting a personal headline, it would be much ado about nothing. There was nothing of substance. There was no need for any military base talks, no intelligence matters, there was no such discussion. Which base is it that the Americans want, and we aren't already ready to hand over, perhaps even eagerly so? Pakistan doesn't produce people every day who have the courage to say absolutely not. And in this region, the United States already has numerous bases. If they really need Pakistani bases, one phone call would suffice. Calling a general, having lunch and chatting is never the method used for such matters, has never been. And this is no example of that either. Then came Zalmay Khalilzad's tweet, which was both embarrassing and regretful. That gentleman, whenever he gets the chance, be it small or big, always takes his shot. Just imagine what he said. That President Trump honoured General Asim Munir by inviting him, giving him his time and hosting him for lunch. I felt this was absurd. Even if he's not the de jure head of state, the de facto head of state, everyone knows, is General Asim Munir. In fact, if you compare with Shahbaz Sharif, Mohsin Naqvi seems more like the real head of state. So this statement by Khalilzad was inappropriate. He just wanted to bring out his old narrative, as he does from time to time. And then he went even further, saying Pakistani generals cannot be trusted. He said many other things too. So what was the takeaway from all this? Just this, that General Asim Munir wanted to establish himself as the head of state for all practical purposes. But General Sahib, you already were that. No one dares to share power with you. You are the sole authority at this moment. You didn't need this kind of gimmick or excuse. In fact, I believe this was a sin without benefit that you committed. Why? I'll discuss the reasons later, because today's real and sensitive topic is still to come. Let me qualify this sin without benefit. America will inevitably be dragged into a war, even if it doesn't want to. I say this every day. America will have to plunge into war. There will be widespread destruction, particularly in Iran. There will be retaliation. But whenever Iran suffers damage, China, Russia, Iran and pro-Iranian communities within Pakistan, they'll all look sideways toward General Asim Munir. At that point, the general will say, I gave or took nothing. But perception will outweigh reality, and the perception will be that you went there and gave everything away. Although there was no need for you to go personally to do that. I've said it before. If they need something, a phone call is enough. Even General Pervez Musharraf, who was in a far more powerful position than you, succumbed to a single call. Not even from a United States president, but from someone much lower in rank. And he sacrificed everything. Today we lament, thousands of our people killed, $100 billion lost. The war on terror is still haunting us. Now, Zalmay Khalilzad's comments, however inappropriate, would have been bearable. But then Donald Trump added insult to injury when he invited Narendra Modi, the Indian Prime Minister, for a meal after his return from Canada, a neighbour, a next-door friend. Imagine you ask your friend, come, have a cup of tea before you go, and he outright refuses or ignores you. All of this happened around the same time. Before I get to the main topic, the real and highly sensitive issue, let me clarify, what was Trump's position? Why did this meeting happen? Why a lunch meeting? Credit goes to Jack Witkoff, son of Steve Witkoff, a cryptocurrency expert, a so-called crypto guru. On our side was Bilal bin Saqib, whom we appointed to the cabinet in a crypto-related role. These people, Mohsin Naqvi, Jack Witkoff, Bilal bin Saqib, they're all friends. They have connections. They convinced President Trump to give Field Marshal Sahib this meeting under the given circumstances. If General Asim Munir had a wise advisor, he would have never advised such a meeting. You should have waited. What urgent need did you have? What upcoming movement demanded this? Even the movements that were active have been called off. Khan has stepped back. Because when war is looming, everything else goes to the back burner. I'll return to the topic of war shortly. As for Trump, he made a smart business move. It can be seen as a business strategy. He knows that Jack Witkoff and his own children are working together on crypto projects. They are doing significant work in crypto mining in Pakistan. Regarding the data centers, a lot of negotiations have been made, and there are considerable benefits for the stakeholders. However, it's a different matter that it may not come to fruition, because the way things are moving forward, it is unlikely. Let me briefly touch upon the subject of rare earth minerals, which has also been casually discussed. You can think of it as Pakistan offering everything, but all of these things take 10 years to mature. Therefore, these are just distant dreams that seem pleasant. At the moment, there is no significant issue regarding the Financial Reforms Initiative or any such concern. What deserves attention is something entirely different, and we'll discuss that now. Number 1. Israel is running out of resources for war. Now, what's new in this? You know as much as I do, the whole world knows that Israel is running out of resources for war. Therefore, it has started making more noise, saying it's all over. They are defeated and asking for help. You must have heard that yesterday, the 5th F-35 jet of theirs was shot down. Netanyahu is crying, and Trump is tweeting continuously, thinking that tweets will make Iran scared. But hey, after bombing, you couldn't scare the Houthis, nor could Britain or you. For a whole month you bombed and nothing happened to them. This kind of tweeting is diplomatically called blinking. In diplomatic terms, it's referred to as blinking, meaning someone blinked. So, who blinked? Trump sustained it, and Iran's response has been strong. Iranians are no amateurs. They are ahead of you by 10 steps with resistance, resilience, and firepower. Therefore, this can't be taken lightly. Now, all the more reason to drag Donald Trump into the war. I've been saying for a long time that they will do something because they have the infrastructure. It's not so easy for them. Whenever they want, they can create any theatre, just like we create mini-theatres in our shows. They can create an international incident anytime. This could happen anywhere on American soil or involving American personalities. This government, which tweets all the time, might find itself dragged into a war. When the time comes, 3 countries will be there, ready for action. You know who they are: China, Russia, and even North Korea. America cannot endure such a war for a month. Even if you consider America a Roman Empire or any deity, American imperialism is on the decline. When the economy is faltering and a gap of $37 trillion has already formed, war is beyond their reach. War is an expensive hobby, and I say daily that America cannot afford it. Now, Pakistan is also facing a challenge at this juncture. What is it? The Indian Prime Minister's aggressive behaviour is once again on display. His attitude, his statements, his people and his media are once again spreading poison, just as they did a month or a month and a half ago. For a short while there was a semblance of peace, but now they are back to their old ways. Listen to the Indian Foreign Secretary's statements, in which they are repeatedly shouting that the Prime Minister told the President directly, "Why are you taking credit for the ceasefire? It was not your job." No trade talks happened, and they are protesting this. These 2 belligerent countries' officials have made an agreement, and they are even saying that it was Pakistan's request. You will remember that I had said long ago that whenever such a pause comes in a war, it doesn't mean talks. It's a brief period for both sides to take a breather because people are fighting on both sides, getting injured and taking care of their wounded. This is an old tradition that when one side makes a request, the other doesn't refuse because it's a temporary break. But this ceasefire has now stretched on, and there are many reasons for it. The Indians know better than us why this is happening. When India realized that its preparations were not up to the mark, it found itself in a situation similar to the one Iran faced, thanks to Netanyahu's underestimation. So when the 2 sides clasped hands, they realized, hey, we are in trouble here. We didn't anticipate this. This delay gave Pakistan a chance to prepare for war. You cannot deny that you have been preparing for war, going as far as Brazil, buying old aircraft at nearly the cost of new ones, refurbishing them, and adding advanced technology. You have made these preparations over many years, and now you are ready. You also acquired icebreakers and stealth missiles, which are state-of-the-art technology. And who has them? Israel. I had previously pointed out that this technology was not for Bhutan or Nepal, it was for Pakistan. And now you have sent a whole team under the leadership of Shashi Tharoor to spread the narrative that Pakistan is a terrorist state. This has created a favorable environment for you to justify further actions. After spending billions of dollars on these preparations, now you're addressing new demands. These preparations are not recent, they have been made over years. And you knew exactly what you were doing, just like Iran did. The problem is that our friends didn't know the extent to which you would go. Another question arises, what is India's defence minister planning? This is all part of the same chain, so it's not rocket science. Every child knows that you are preparing for war, and you've made significant investments in various forms, including the BLA, TTP and others. This isn't just a coincidence. Now, the core message from today's discussion, our government must prepare. Don't focus all your attention on cryptocurrency. Go to China, ask for their help. We may not be able to buy what we need, but we can certainly ask for it. This is what we are good at, and we have the power to do so. Many might find this message unpleasant, but I see both wars merging, heading towards one massive conflict. As I've said before, I am not interested in selling my missiles, my aircraft or ammunition. I am only interested in making sure my country is prepared for the danger ahead, but unfortunately, that sense of urgency is missing. And one last piece of advice, don't depend on America. After all, Zalmay Khalilzad said it best when he mentioned that you cannot trust Pakistani generals. I say you should never trust American presidents when fighting. They've betrayed us many times before. Which naval fleet ever arrived as promised? How many times have American presidents misled us? Richard Nixon kept us in the dark for years. So, don't rely on them. A few days ago, I made a video thumbnail saying, "This is the America our establishment is depending on." Before I finish, I ask you to reflect on karma. A man was sent to Moscow, but a bird flipped the story saying he went on his own accord. Yet he didn't even dare to scratch the surface of these matters without your permission. And now, as you return from Washington, D.C., the sound of the war drum is quietly approaching. That wraps up our translation of Aftab Iqbal's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.